All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at lone worker safety and how technology can really make a difference.
Yeah, it's a fascinating field, and there's a lot of innovation happening, especially when you think about all the people who work alone every day.
It is, and that's what we're diving into today with the Lone Worker Guardian Watch. This thing isn't just a gadget, it's potentially saving lives out there, and it's made by CPR Global Tech. They actually won the Queen's Award twice.
Oh, wow, twice.
Yep, 2018 and then again in 2020. That's a
Yeah,
big deal. Shows they're serious about this stuff.
absolutely. Not just a fly-by-night company, right?
Exactly. And what's interesting is that this watch actually evolved from one of their other products.
Oh, really? Which one?
The CPR Guardian Personal Alarm Watch, they saw this need for something more comprehensive and took what they learned to make this new one. So for today's deep dive, we've got a whole bunch of stuff to look at.
Oh, great. What do we have?
We've got the product descriptions, of course, and some user guides, but also a white paper from Swansea University. Yeah, Professor Nick Rich wrote it. We're basically trying to figure out how this watch is changing the game for lone worker safety.
Lone working, I mean, it's everywhere when you think about it. It's not just your classic security guard or something.
No, not at all. It's way more widespread than people realize, right?
Mhm.
I mean, you've got delivery drivers out there on the road all day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Healthcare workers going into people's homes.
Right, right. All sorts of people.
Engineers working in remote locations. Even people working from home, technically, are lone workers.
That's true. Each of them facing different kinds of risks, too.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. A delivery driver could have an accident or come across a tricky situation during a delivery.
And a healthcare worker, going into someone's home, that could be unpredictable.
Yeah, it really makes you think about all the dangers they face every day.
And the numbers are kind of shocking, too. The Swansea University white paper, the one by Professor Rich, says there are over 8 million lone workers in the UK alone.
8 million.
Just think about that. It's a huge chunk of the workforce. And they need specific ways to stay safe.
That's exactly where CPR Global Tech saw the need and stepped in.
Makes sense. They had the experience with that personal alarm watch, so they built on that.
They didn't just add a few bells and whistles, though. They went all out. This Lone Worker Guardian Watch is a whole other level.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What did they do?
Well, we'll get into the specifics in a bit, but it goes way beyond just a simple alarm. It's got GPS tracking, two-way communication, even health monitoring. It's really impressive.
So they're not just reacting to emergencies, but trying to prevent them too. That's a smart approach.
Exactly. It's about staying ahead of the game when it comes to safety, and that's what we're going to unpack today.
I'm ready. Let's dive in. You know what's interesting in that white paper, the one from Swansea University?
Yeah, what is it?
Professor Rich talks about this push and pull model of safety, and it made me think about this watch in a new way.
I was a little confused by those terms, too, when I first read it. What do they actually mean?
Okay, so the push model, that's all about passive monitoring. Basically, the watch is quietly doing its thing in the background,
Wow.
gathering data, heart rate, location, even if the worker falls, sending that info to a monitoring team.
So even if the worker doesn't know something's wrong, the system might catch it.
Right. It's like a safety net you don't even see. Not just reacting after an emergency, but trying to stop it before it happens.
I like that, being proactive.
Exactly. But then there's the pull model, which is all about giving the worker control.
Okay, so if they need help, they can signal for it.
Yep. That big red SOS button, that's the pull. They're in charge.
So you've got both sides covered. The watch is looking out for them, and they can reach out if needed.
Exactly. And that's what makes this Lone Worker Guardian so cool. It combines both approaches. It's like a double layer of protection.
It's a hybrid. That's a good way to put it.
And that's important because lone workers face so many different kinds of risks.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The white paper goes into that too, how this watch can handle all sorts of stuff.
Like what?
Well, like falls, obviously, medical emergencies, but also things like potential violence, even the stress of working alone, all that's in there.
That mental strain, that really stood out to me, too, while we were researching this.
It's a big deal, and it's often overlooked.
Yeah, people don't always think about it. Being isolated, not having support, dealing with tough situations on your own, it all adds up.
It really does, yeah.
And it seems like the watch tackles this side of things, too.
Oh, for sure.
That two-way communication isn't just for emergencies. It's a way to stay connected with the team, lessens that feeling of being alone.
Huge for morale, right? Knowing someone's there, even if it's just a quick check-in, can make all the difference.
And maybe the heart rate monitor helps, too, in a way.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if it sees your heart rate suddenly jumping up, it could be stress, anxiety, right? Someone might need to check in with that worker, offer support, maybe even lighten their workload.
It's like a little early warning system for mental health. That's pretty cool. But all this tech is great in theory, but has it actually made a difference in the real world?
That's the key question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And good news is the white paper has some real-world examples. They talk about this construction company. They gave the watches to their workers on a big building site.
Construction, that's a classic lone worker scenario.
Right. And not only could the supervisors see where everyone was, thanks to the GPS, but they actually spotted a pattern.
Oh, what was it?
One area of the site had way more falls than others they never noticed before, but the data showed it clear as day.
And then they could do something about it.
Exactly. They made that area safer, all because of the information from the watches. It's not just about reacting, it's about preventing things from happening in the first place.
I love that, using tech to make a real difference. Any other examples? Did it work in other industries too?
Oh, yeah, they had a home healthcare agency. They gave the watches to their nurses who were doing home visits.
Home health care, that can be tough, right?
Oh, for sure. Lots of unpredictable situations. You're often alone. But the two-way communication, that was a game changer. Nurses could stay in touch with their supervisors constantly.
Peace of mind for everyone involved.
Knowing help is just a button press away, no matter where you are.
It's crazy to think a little watch can have such a big impact.
It is. And the more we dig into this, the more I realize it's not just about the tech itself. It's about changing how we think about safety at work.
Not just waiting for something to go wrong, but trying to stop it before it does.
And the Lone Worker Guardian, it's like a tool to make that happen, you know?
It really is. It's almost like the start of something bigger, this move towards using data to keep people safe.
I think you're right. I'm really curious to see where all this leads for this watch and for lone worker safety in general.
Me too. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. You know, I've been thinking, we've talked a lot about how this watch keeps people safe. Right.
Yeah, that's the core of it, isn't it?
But I feel like there's potential for it to go even further, like beyond just reacting to emergencies.
Oh, I totally agree. We've just scratched the surface with the safety stuff.
Right. What
Yeah.
about all the data it collects? Heart rate, how much someone moves, where they are, all that could be used for something bigger.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine using that to actually improve people's health, not just keep them from getting hurt.
Yeah, like what if it spotted a pattern in your heart rate, something subtle? That could mean a health problem down the line.
And it could warn you, right? Get checked out early, maybe catch something before it becomes serious.
It's like having a mini doctor on your wrist.
In a way, yeah. We're so used to reacting to health issues, this could flip that whole idea on its head.
Preventative care, that's a powerful concept.
And it gets even wider when you think about what companies could do. They could look at data from all their workers' watches, see the trends.
See if certain jobs are more stressful, maybe even redesign the workplace to be healthier.
It's not just about one person's safety anymore. It's about everyone, the whole environment.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about where this could lead.
It really is. It all started with trying to keep lone workers safe, but the possibilities are huge.
At the beginning of this, I thought we were going to be talking about a cool gadget, you know?
Yeah, a fancy watch, that's all.
But it's so much more than that. It's about a company that actually cared. CPR Global Tech.
They didn't just throw some tech together. They thought it through. They understood what people needed.
And they came up with something that really works, that's changing things out there in the world.
It's the human side of tech. That's what makes the difference. They empowered workers. They made communication better. They changed how we think about safety.
And it's just the beginning. Who knows what's next?
Exactly. This has been a fantastic deep dive, really eye-opening.
I agree. If anyone out there is interested in this stuff, the Lone Worker Guardian, all that, go check out the sources we mentioned. There's so much to learn.
Always good to stay informed. That's how we make things better for everyone.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring.